few years ago, I did a video on the making of my album Deconstruct Into the Void. I talked through the concepts of the album and what the process of making it was like. In this video, we're going to do something a little similar, but this time I want to focus more on the lyrics. So we'll go through my new release, Livin In The Deficit, highlight some of the lyrics, and talk a little bit about the process of making this album. This is behind the lyrics for Livin In The Deficit. Track 1, Out of Sequence.
Couple screws loose, I'm off like a booze cruise. Tossed like some loose shoes that fall in the 2x2. Call came from in the room, Saul said to pay and move.
At the time of writing this one, the only other track I had for this album was Seasonally. And Seasonally had been done for probably 3 months or more at this point. So I wanted to paint a picture of someone who realizes that there's like a creative block coming, but they're not quite there yet. And so they're just kind of celebrating the moment, really. So, I tried to use some wordplay, a couple screws loose, I'm off like a booze cruise. Just kind of funny ways to explain, like, man, I might be going crazy. I definitely had a lot of fun on this one, just messing with wordplay. The beginning of the second verse, I wrote, third person be my POV. I'm with satellites coasting like it's POD. I had been sitting on that line. I had it tucked in my notes for months, and I mean months, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I got halfway done with this one, and I was like, that fits perfectly for this concept. And really the main message of the song comes at the end. I say I'm gonna hold to the flow like it holds on to me. For thee, life dearest can be the highest heights where it's clearest to see and be free. Really just saying, like, no matter what comes my way, gotta keep doing things. Really, I gotta keep trying. That's what I was feeling at the time. And this one was actually really the catalyst to move me on to finishing the EP. At the time, I was looking for a beat to use for a theme song for a podcast for work. And when this one came up, I thought about it for a few seconds, and then there was this light switch of like, no, I need to write to this one. I made this beat in February. Same time I made the beat for Scattered. I don't think I recorded any lyrics for Out of Sequence until probably August, maybe July. I had Seasonally for most of the year, and then a lot of these came right at the end. Track 2, Time Right.
And it's a sign of the times. I feel the vibe switch rich like there's gold in my rhymes. I'm like the tide, rip quick, then it's back to my grind. Falling off the line, but I'm feeling just fine.
And so for this one, I wanted to kind of dive deeper into the idea of Out of Sequence, where you can really start to feel the decline, with lines like falling off the line, but I'm feeling just fine. It almost gives off the impression of like a split personality. Like one half is kind of starting to decline and the other half is like, no, we need to go up. So yeah, I guess I was really just trying to extend the message of sequence, but try and paint it in a different way and really show that steep decline that's starting to tip and really falls in the next track. All right, track 3, Livin In The Deficit, right? I gotta look up my own album, bro. Yes, it is. Okay. Track 3, Livin In The Deficit.
I'm bracing for the impact, but there's nothing left to see. Trying to trace whatever did that and threw off my routine. But it's me, sitting back to melting in my sheets. In a blank, something felt deep and left me in the breeze.
So Lemmedoya sent us a bunch of beats that he wasn't using from older concepts that hadn't been finished, and this one came up, and it was titled Unread, and it had the hook on it already. And so when I heard this one, I was like, man, this needs to be a song. Like, I couldn't not make this one. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's about being ghosted. It's that feeling of being left on red. So in the first verse, it's really just kind of starting to explain the feeling. Say I'm bracing for the impact, but there's nothing left to see. Trying to trace whatever did that and threw off my routine. It's like I'm waiting for something still, waiting for that message. And it's like the part of my brain that knows it's never coming is fighting with the part that still wants it to. So, and next I say, trying to trace whatever did that and threw off my routine, but it's me sitting back to melt into my sheets. In a blink, something felt deep that left me in the breeze. So it was like by waiting and by kind of putting life on hold, you only hurt yourself more, I guess is what I was trying to say with that. And it's kind of that realization that leads into the second verse, where I say I'm sleepwalking, talking often, trade this coffin for a softened view and visit like it's autumn walking. Sometimes you just got to give yourself, you got to give yourself something to enjoy and go there more often than autumn walking. You don't just visit it, or if you do, you need to visit it more often, I guess is what I was trying to say. So really by the end, the second verse is a rejection of being stagnant, which I think is a message that is told throughout this album. It's kind of like, I'm sick of sitting around is the general vibe. Track 4, Scattered.
Got a chill in my bones and swill in the throat. Spit it
Scattered is another beat that was made on live stream. I'll have those linked in the description. This song was actually completed by February or March, but it wasn't originally supposed to be on my project. It was going to be Squidessential's. So the chill in my bones and swill in the throat is like, it's about realizing that you're losing interest in things that you used to love, Music doesn't sound the same, food doesn't taste the same. And I think since I started making music, I've realized that writing about things you're struggling with can really kind of help, Musicians say it all the time. It's like therapy. So I say spit it to the gnomes, let them get every note is like my way of saying like, you're struggling right now? All right, let's make something. Let's write about it. And just hope the boat don't spin and get broke. Used to let it row, now I feel it the most. Is like, it's a metaphor for life. The boat is a metaphor for life. And it's basically saying I used to just go with the flow, and now I feel every wave. That's really what that line's about. So yeah, I guess Scattered is really about knowing that it's gonna be tough. Time brought us home, but it started to rain. Like you feel like you're finally home, but then things just keep changing. Track 5, Seasonally.
I was fine till they were shuffling decks. Now my mind is in a trance, it's like I'm under a hex. Been arrested in development, no catching my breath. Set the pen up for the hell of it and puff when I'm stressed.
So for the last few years, every couple months on my algorithms on social media, I'll get tarot readings from tarot card readers. And it seems like they only come at certain times, and that was why I ended up using seasonally. It's saying that they only come during certain seasons. And I started to see in these tarot readings like people who were still holding on to someone, people are claiming they're coming back and all this crazy stuff just for someone who doesn't want them anymore, and they shouldn't want those people anymore. So seasonally is really about me being angry at tarot readers. I wrote, I was fine till they were shuffling decks. Now my mind is in a trance. It's like I'm under a hex. Been arrested in development, no catching my breath. Set the pen up for the hell of it and puff when I'm stressed. So it's like I'm trying to take the perspective of someone who sees those readings and kind of gets anxious and starts to reminisce rather than being able to just move on, And that's really what the whole second half is about. Tower moment, I'm on top for the day. Put some sour on it, ain't no point to lock it away. Basically saying like, gotta live my life like these ideas don't even exist, because it's not worth it to just sit and wait, and it's really not worth it to be hung up on something that's never gonna happen. So this song was years in the making, honestly. I've been getting those readings since like 2020. Butane Flame.
I sleep, walk every single day. It's like a beat drops and I got nothing to say, so I wait.
I made another song just like this a couple years ago called Dream. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's about having writer's block. And I don't remember where I heard this, but a long time ago, someone said, when you have writer's block, the best thing to do is write about having writer's block. It worked for Dream and it worked for Butane Flame, because it's hard to remember exactly which ones came first, but I know Butane Flame came at a time where I hadn't written in a while, and it just kind of felt good to get it out, So I say, can you relate? And if you can't, then you're awake, so stay, and I'll be two shakes. It's a play, and I forget my lines while I'm away. It's a race. Basically saying like, if you can't relate to the writer's block, then just wait, and I'll be there. And two shakes is a play on two shakes of a lamb tail. I used to always hear that. I'll be there quicker than two shakes of a lamb's tail, So that was kind of fun. I've never been able to put that to writing, two shakes of a lamb tail. That's a throwback for me, honestly. That's like a 90s phrase. So yeah, if you haven't heard the album, go check it out. And if you're into beat making, I'll be having another Sample 45 series video up this week where I'm sampling 45 RPM vinyls. We've already got a few done. I'm also doing regular vinyl sampling every once in a while. So if you're into that and you want to hear some dope beats, subscribe to the channel. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.